Good afternoon, everyone. Well, not quite good afternoon yet. Depends where you're tuning in from. My name is Matt C. Smith, coming at you live from Oslo, Norway, Video Valley. And this is my co-host. And once again, we have a fantastic speaker for you. And this is Pandya. Pandya? Am I saying it correctly?
Yes.
Pandya,
Yes.
I said it right. We got there. So many names, so many great speakers. Jay's going to talk to us this afternoon a little bit about e-learning and how we can pave our way forward around COVID-19. So, Jay, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you so much, Mark. Thanks for having me. All right. So what we're going to do today, I'm going to share my slide pack, but what we're going to do is talk about, the e-learning has been around for a number of years now. It's nothing new about it, right? But COVID-19 situation has actually created some opportunities. And in the context of some emerging, technologies, we need to deal with, look at the whole space from a new angle. Okay. So let me share my screen. You can see my presentation, Mark. Okay, great. So here's the thing, right? I'm gonna turn this on. All right. So we're talking about, what the COVID-19 situation, the pandemic situation, what does it mean in terms of the education and the e-learning opportunity? Okay. Let's just set some context quickly. The economic impacts of COVID-19. UN estimated, about 195 million jobs that are being lost. World Trade Organization estimated, the decline in trade between 13% to 32%, in 2020. And the UN is also estimating the global GDP could shrink by 0.9%, during current year. Now, these are some massive numbers. And what does it mean? If we really bring these numbers back home, back to ourselves personally, there is a real impact happening on people and families, right? There are financial disputes leading to increase in domestic violence, there's depression, family breakdowns, increased rates of suicides, decline in societal harmony in longer terms, and many, many more, but that we need to be mindful of that is unfolding in our society as we speak. And what matters most during this time is that people can actually generate income. So many people have lost their jobs, right? And people need to be able to generate income and support themselves and their families. So here's the solution that I've been thinking about and have been proposing is, here's the fundamental premise of the solution, is that everyone has the skills, experience to be able to help others. And these skills and experience can be transformed into content. And this content can be packaged in an online learning product. And these online learning products can be sold via platforms. So none of this is new, but what people need to realize, if they've lost their job, if the business has gone down or business has closed because of the global shutdown, right? People got to realize that everyone, and when I say everyone, I mean really everyone, including those people who really think that, my job cannot be digitized, I cannot take what I do online. Well, I fundamentally challenge that. Everyone has a skills and experience that they can share, create content, publish it, structure it, publish it as an online product, and actually generate income out of it by publishing on the platforms, right? So that's the fundamental premise of the solution. So what are we talking about? What are the key components that are necessary to accomplish that? Is, take someone's skills and experience, the wisdom, turn it into a structured content, choose a platform you can distribute that content via, and also, and provide some necessary marketing support. When these four things come together, I really think that we have an answer to the massive unemployment, the global depression that is unfolding in front of our eyes. And anyone can actually do this. You don't need a special skills or expertise. You just really need to ask a question of, what do I know? What do I know and what can I share that can contribute and help others? So that's the fundamental premise of the solution. Now, I want to set some context of the emerging technologies and how that can actually impact this landscape, right? So if you look at the traditional educational interactions, these are being tipped by, value-added marketing practices, the platform economy or the platform revolutions that you see, the voice user interactions, Facebook, Google, Amazon, these companies are investing in excess of billions of dollars in the voice user interactions. And of course, the artificial intelligence and automation technologies, right? So when you combine those four technologies together, there's a real disruption and change that has been happening. And by the way, none of this is anything to do with COVID-19, but COVID-19 actually fast tracks and accelerates some of the opportunities available as a result of this technology that's been around for the last few years that we have seen. So let's just go deeper into this. What type of interactions we are talking about, right? So see, when an educator is interacting with a student or a learner or a client, okay, depending on a context, there are two types of interactions that occur, between an educator and a learner. The first interaction is what I call category 1 interaction. It's an information or a content distribution type of interaction, and I call it a low value interaction. Here's why. These are the interactions that results from learners' questions, where the student or a learner is asking, questions, issues, and concerns. And these are the questions that are repeatedly and frequently raised by learners. And for someone who is, expert in their field, they don't even necessarily need to be an educator, but someone who is an expert in their field, right? They have developed a lot of content, training material, tools, templates, and how-to guides that, over the period of number of years, right? And if that is not being there, there might be podcast, audio, video recordings, documents. These are the information assets and a content that generally provide an answer to the questions that are raised by the clients. How do I do X, Y, Z? Now, for someone like me, been in a medical field before, I'm in a technology field for the last 2 decades. And if someone asked me about or repairing a car, I would have no clue, right? All I'll see is open the car and I'll see dirt and green. I can't turn the engine on if it's been turned off. But someone who has opened them, has developed some expertise and experience, can actually teach a lot about how to restart a car if it's broken down. This is the kind of example I'm talking about. Okay, that's what I mean when I say, there is a audio recording, video recording, documents, templates. If you have been developing that, great. If not, that's the type of interaction that this content can actually answer those questions. And then there is a typical educator, and really I can say anyone who is a professional can actually spend a lot of time repeating this static info, and I underline this, static information. Let's look at category 2 interaction, right? There are 2 types of interactions that are possible. The category 2 interaction is what I call, those interactions between an educator and learner that needs a behavioral change, right? Behavioral change, transformational aspects, and they are really high value. These are the dynamic interactions, you can say, related to the soft issue. It's a complex human behavior that needs a very transformational interaction between an educator and a learner, between an expert professional and a learner, right? Those interactions actually lead to the changes in the being and actions by the, by the learner, right? Those things alter. So what is the opportunity? Now this, by the way, this opportunity always existed. But the problem is now, with COVID-19, this opportunity actually is highlighted because people have a lot of free time, okay? If people have lost their jobs, people who wanted to produce online content, informational content, educational content, just didn't get around doing it, did not have time to do it. There is a lot of time on the hand. So here's the opportunity, guys. The response, the opportunities in the category 1 interactions, right? Think about anything in category 1 interaction as a data. Here's why it's a data. It does not need human instinct and a judgment. Okay, if it doesn't need human instinct, it doesn't need a judgment, and there is a content about it, that's what the category 1 is. And because it's a data that is captured in form of audio recordings, video recordings, your pictures, your graphics, your text-based documents, blogs posts. See, we can actually train machine learning algorithms and develop what I call an artificial intelligence coach, And when that AI coach is developed, learning from the content that is produced, right? Then magic can happen. See, then the next thing that we do is voice user interactions powered by the AI coach that can allow people to access the wisdom. And when I say people, I mean learners, the global market, to access the wisdom of the coach using natural language in an always on environment. This is a massive deal. This is a massive opportunity. And anyone who never, considered themselves as an educator, literally, I underline, anyone can be an educator, share their experience, share their wisdom, create content. And the premise of the solution is let's train the AI to learn from that content, and we create a digital coach, expose that algorithms through the natural language processing. Hey Alexa, hey Google, okay Google, kind of hey Siri kind of environment interactions for global learners in their own local language. That's the beauty of this, right? So here's the perspective I see as an opportunity that we have, right? Is sophisticated digital platforms accessed via voice user interface. We all used to okay Google or hey Siri or hey Alexa, okay, and powered by conversational AI. That's what I mean when I say the Google, Alexa, Siri examples. They can actually enable real-time access to the wisdom and experts' knowledge. You could be expert in how to mow your garden, right? How to take care of your garden, or how to take care of the plumbing, or how to do value investing, or how to, generate cash flow in your business, how to make certain kind of food recipes. It doesn't matter what you're talking about as long as you are expert into something and you're sharing your knowledge and wisdom. There's a real-time access to that wisdom that's possible because that is embedded in the data. And what can this can lead to is a hyper personalized educational service by an always on AI coach. Now, that is a game changer, everyone. And because this disrupts the current business model where an educator actually has to spend time with the learner, that model alters. And because of that model altering, the price point, the economics of the interaction becomes very affordable because the educator does not need to be in front of the learner, right? So here's the opportunity that I see. Anyone with skills, knowledge, and wisdom can generate revenue from digitizing category one interactions by creating content, publishing online courses, while preparing for the disruption that's coming our way. What I'm talking about, those are the combination of those technologies. They already exist. What I'm talking about now is bringing those technologies together and creating an application of those technologies. And you know what? While someone might have lost their job or the business might be down, or you have a lot of free time on your hand, you could be creating a lot of content in your own expertise, sharing and all that wisdom, really preparing for the future that is now fast-tracked by COVID-19. Here's what I see. There'll be a lot of new entrants getting into the educational space. People don't need to have a degree. People don't even need to be a formal educator or a formal coach or a professional accreditation. Anyone can actually adopt the role of an educator. So in the space, there'll be a lot of new entrants who are entering the industry. Those guys who are master content producers, they can start to actually be an educator, and they can start to leverage platforms to exploit category one interactions. And a lot of experienced professionals with the loss of corporate and secure jobs, right? They can now start living and earning, and the whole make a revenue out of their expertise, sharing their expertise, and gain fulfillment, autonomy, and satisfaction. That's the opportunity that is in front of us, fast tracked by COVID. Here's how I would summarize it. Okay, you look at category one interactions. Remember, guys, these are the simple questions, issues that are raised by people who don't know anything about the topic or area where you are expert in. Those interactions can be digitized, and therefore, because it's digitized, it can be commoditized. There is no limit into how many people can access digital content, right? That leads to change in a business model in the current scenario. That actually results into the third bullet point is affordable access to that wisdom, to that expertise on a subscription basis. What does that mean? That actually leads to more free time supported by the passive revenue from the automated platforms. When people realize this, there are going to be a whole bunch of new entrants who are master content producers. They will be entering this space. And therefore there is also a new market creation and expansion of the overall market. Here is the reason. Digitized content actually deals with three barriers of education. See, those three barriers to education, or the learning or sharing the expertise, are language. Language is a barrier. Someone sitting in Afghanistan, Iraq, Tamil Nadu, south of India, or Pakistan cannot access a lot of expertise or wisdom or expert knowledge that might be accessible in US or in some of the European country or Australia, where I am located, right? But you know what? They all have mobile phones and they can actually speak in their local language. So the geographic barriers is removed, the language barriers is removed, and the next barrier is pricing barrier. The economics of sharing the content and education can be removed. So those is the opportunity that's really emerging. And therefore, there's this vast market, in Southeast Asia, in Africa, that is a learner's market is not accessible to someone in Europe or in US or in Asia Pacific. That market can actually be opened up for $1-2 €1, €2. Those guys can actually access the wisdom, the expertise on a frequent interaction basis, and that is now fast tracked because of the free time people have. So for the rest of the world as a market of learners, that's what you're going to start thinking. The current business model driven, by the barriers of geography, economics, and language is literally those three barriers can be destroyed in the current business model. So how do we prepare for this future? What do you need to do? First of all, one of the things, and this is a technical thing, but I'm just going to point out where you're going to draw your attention. You got to understand the artificial intelligence process, right? It all starts with the data. Then the data goes through the machine learning activity, ingesting the data, exploring the data, preparing, pre-processing. This is an expert technical domain, training the data models, the hypertuning, the testing it, predicting the matching and response models that ultimately goes into the apps that the customers can use. Okay, but for an average learner, for an average professional, you don't need to worry about it because those things are taken care by the experts. What you're going to be focusing on is, are you creating content in form of a data? That's the first thing you got to prepare. If you understand that data is the heart of the artificial intelligence, you can be in the game. You can create data by writing a blog post. You can create a data by, live video. Right now, this interaction itself is a data. It's a video recording. It's going to be a data, right? So you focus on creating the data. What's the next thing you can do? You got to pay attention to data ownership, control, and accessibility. Okay. So what sort of data you want to pay attention to is client engagement, student engagement, learner engagement with the content. What content they're accessing when, how much are they staying with that content, how popular is that content? That's really important. How are they interacting if there are events and seminars? Obviously, there are no events and seminars happening by the global shutdown, but when we on the other side of it, what people are talking about at specific events and seminars. We are currently in an online event. What is their interaction data in this online event of EU versus virus, right? You got to pay attention to that interaction data. And the interactions between the coach and the rest of the community, that also creates a lot of data. You got to take attention to that. Individual client or a learner performance, that's a data. Are they getting successful by learning the skills and the tool set? What is their profile? What is a learner profile or a client profile? That's also an important aspect of their data. And what kind of questions they're asking, what's their feedback as they interact with you and the content, and how are they progressing in their goals? If you pay attention to these 6 data categories, you are really preparing and fast tracking for the future that is incredibly powerful and disruptive future that is actually fast track, I believe, by at least 5 years because of this pandemic crisis that's happened. So here's the immediate implementation approach as we come closer to this, okay? The phase 1, what people go to start doing is the action plan. Here's what you can start doing right now. build a repository of skills, your knowledge and experience, produce content, okay? Start writing, sharing, and recording that content. And if you have existing recordings, edit those recordings for consumption on the mobile apps, okay? Structure and create, package your online offerings. That's the phase one. You can take, you can start doing this today. If you're listening to this today, you can start doing this today. Then the next phase you go into is hosting and distributing your online offerings, okay? And then engage existing clients. Now, many of you starting now, you may not have existing clients because you've been a plumber or a shopkeeper or a cleaner or musician. That's fine. You have a network of people. You can start interacting with them and commence direct marketing with those guys. That's where you start. And the referral marketing is one of the most powerful tool that is underutilized and not paid enough attention to. Word of mouth. Generate free leads by word of mouth. Who do you know and who do they know in their networks, right? That's the whole referral marketing. Pay attention to that. That's the second phase of it. And the third aspect is really, when you want to get more sophisticated, start using the social media marketing to attract new clients, generate sales, and start interacting digitally with a whole new client base who never knew you before. So that's the action plan I would leave people with. And this is the opportunity that has been fast-tracked by COVID-19. Okay, here's the summary, guys. Anyone can publish content. Anyone can be found globally. Anyone can engage clients and learner community globally. Anyone can get paid, generate revenue and income. Anyone can seek referrals and testimonials globally. Anyone can really now, with the tools and technologies available, build interactive communities. And if you are clever about it, this is the last point, anyone can actually own the interactions data in their ecosystem. So that's all what I wanted to say and wanted to cover today. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you for your time. If you have a question or wants to get in touch with me for collaboration or other opportunities of how to exploit this, how to do about this, want to participate in this, feel free to reach out to me at jay@masterdojo.io. Mark, thank you very much. That's it from me.
Jay, that was fantastic. Thank you so much. You can stop sharing your screen. We want to get your beautiful face back because that was so insightful. That was so valuable because I've been involved a little bit in ed tech over the years, involved in a startup called 1 Billion. And I'm trying to do my own educational courses on YouTube, actually. So first question for you, Jay, what is the best platform? What channel should we focus on?
There are so many platforms that are available, right? I got my own platform that I created specifically for this purpose. That platform is called Master Dojo. So I'm the founder of it when I'm the one bringing these technologies together to really give this, this opportunity to people. But there are lots of other platforms as well, like, Udemy, Coursera. Mine is Master Dojo. And I know because I have a control over it, I'm the founder of it. I'm actually building this platform to leverage this opportunity.
So basically the future of e-learning, the future of ed tech and education is basically all of us becoming domain experts and selling our knowledge.
Correct.
Because sort of creating a secondary economy effectively. So Idia, for example, she's a genius when it comes to podcasting and interviewing, right? So her creating a course on those two domains is something that I know I would pay for. Luckily enough, I don't have to, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I do have to. It's behind a paywall. And the same thing, but putting this behind a paywall, now you've created Master Dojo. Can I do such a thing? Is it a white label software you've bought and then put your own branding on? White label, what I mean by that is it's something you can create your own out of, but it's an existing software.
I built it from scratch.
Wow.
I have a team of people who actually built it. So obviously, we have been doing it for the last 2 years, right? And we are a startup, and currently, we are at a phase where you can actually create online content, start making money from online offerings, right? Referrals, testimonials, all of that. You can do that via Master Dojo. It's a mobile app from a learner perspective, okay? And we are actually working on bringing this future, with the artificial intelligence algorithms to where, if Mark, we can create you into an AI coach. So that's what we are working on. But the critical aspect is AI feeds on the data. So we are at a stage where once people start using this platform, right, more and more data that is on this platform rather than WhatsApp or Facebook or other platforms, we can actually feed that data to the AI algorithms and create digital avatar of you.
Jay, there's a famous media adage, which is CCC, content, community, commerce, right? So content being creating good content. And we just had a chat with Adam, who's the LinkedIn expert, and his red thread was create quality content that you can actively speak about. If someone to stop you on the street and ask you a question, you should be able to answer it, right? Because you're a domain expert. So you've got the content. You've spoken about content. Anyone can create content. Right now, we're creating content, as you said. We can create content right now. We can all just take our phones out and do that kind of stuff. My question around sort of creating a community around this, right? Because obviously, if I were to put my content out onto YouTube or onto Vimeo or whatever, they can subscribe, and then I can monetize it through the third-party advertising and things like that. Going one step further, how are you collating and creating a community around your content and your domain? I mean, are there any tips you could give us about how to really create a community around? Is it a brand? Is it Jay Pandya they're focusing on it, or is it Master Dojo? I mean, is it company or person?
Look, I won't speak about myself. Okay, I think let's just talk about you, or what you should do, or what people listening to this should do. Right? Is whatever content you create, you start with your immediate community and immediate network. Right? You may not have existing clients who are purchasing your programs from you, but you have family, you have friends, you start sharing with them. That's where you start. Then what happens is you got to create referrals and incentivize people for referring you to others. Right? Now, you and I just met, but there is a community of 2,000 people, Mark, you might know, right? Now, if I incentivize you for providing me referrals, and I incentivize those people who receive the referral from you, from your network, right? That's the basis of nothing new that I'm saying, but that's the basis of referral marketing, right? Can you go and tell 10 other friends and family about me or about Master Dojo, and I incentivize you for doing so, and I incentivize those people for listening to you, to reaching out to you, right?
It's the multiplier effect. It's tapping into existing communities and reaching out to Uriya has her network and her audience and her fans, and me tapping into that briefly. She can do the same for me. But let's have some fun very briefly. Since I've got you here, Jay, I'm going to take this one as an opportunity for myself to learn, because Jay, I've been a venture capitalist. I've invested into some $1 billion business, which is Farfetch, through the fund that I was part of. And I've been an angel investor. I've actually taught angel investing. And I'm a show host and all that kind of stuff, right? I've started doing, and I'm a founder too. I've started to do a course now for YouTube, right? I haven't uploaded it. I'm actually going to upload it tomorrow, and it's on my channel, The Lunicorn. That's unicorn with an L. What would you do if you were me right now? So like I have a little bit of an audience and a small brand and a growing brand, I hope. And I hope that I'm adding content. I try to be as energetic and honest and informative and entertaining as possible. What would you do in my steps right now?
So you are definitely taking the right step in terms of going on YouTube, right? That's tick. Second thing I would say, unashamedly, get on Master Dojo.
Good.
Here's why, right? Is we actually digitize the referral marketing. That no other platform's doing it. See, if I have 3,500 people in my phone book, now I know you and I consume your content, right? The sharing, all that happens on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, all that is easy. But when on a YouTube, when I share about your video, you don't know that I shared about your video with 5 other people in my friends. You don't know who they are. You don't know their email address. You don't know their phone numbers. You cannot actually use my sharing with others to your marketing and community building advantage. What we did in Master Dojo was created the mechanism, a digitized referral process, right? Where the educator, the community owner, like you, Mark, you can, if I go and share about you with 10 of my friends via Master Dojo, right? Not only it's easy for me to share, you now know that I shared about you with 10 friends of friends. And who are those 10 friends? What's their email address? What's their phone numbers? Because that data exists on my phone. Can you do something with 10 friends, their email addresses and phone numbers that I gave you with my consent? Of course you can. You go and market to them, and then you incentivize them. You incentivize me as a thank you gift, right? For, hey Jay, thanks for sharing my about me and my friend, my videos with 10 of your friends. by the way, you can track who out of those 10 friends have actually clicked on your landing page and who actually filled out a form, right? You can see that. So you can literally design a clever marketing campaign. Jai, you share your, about me with 10 people. I'll give you this content or an ebook or a half an hour consultation free, because of what I know. Yeah. As a gift, my thank you gift to you. And similarly, to those people who are 10 friends of mine, they heard about you from me, who is a trusted source. So they're gonna go, oh, Jai is recommending Mark. Let me check Mark out, right? And you're gonna directly speak to them on your video again, designed specifically for referral purpose. And you go, guys, you've been here. You are watching this video because you have been referred to me specifically from your trusted friend or a family. Thank you for visiting. Here is, I'm gonna do something special for you. And you incentivize them for watching your video. That's a free marketing that you don't have to pay for acquisition of the client. You don't have to pay for any of those leads. That's the way to do it.
And Jay, I feel like the world is never more accessible than it is online right now. And I think the Hackathon we're all part of, EU versus Virus, is testament to that, because, we're getting great people like you on, and we are accessible because on our Slack channels, everyone can get everyone, right? So I would say to anyone watching this now, use this as a platform. So in Jay's words, you are a content creator. Find your domain, find your niche, create content, get out there. You are the new future of e-learning. Jay, you want to finish up there?
That's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jay, coming in from Australia, actually. Another great one. Thank you for joining us. I know it's Sunday evening for you. We really appreciate you taking the time. Thank you, Jay. We will be back in just about, 50 minutes or so. We'll be hearing from Lola Marsh. She is going to be playing later on this evening at the live closing ceremony. But just before we do that, let's play ourselves out, Ilya.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Stay tuned, stay on the Facebook channel. Hit us up on YouTube if you want, The Unicorn, Power Ladies, and it is all about the Master Dojo.
Bye.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for watching, everyone. Back in 15 minutes.
Coming through with the roughness.